Drew, let's get crazy, Daddy. Let's go crazy, crazy, crazy.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Drew Brees in the house.
My boy.
I mean,
Lolo, PB. Holla at you.
Holla at you.
Yeah, you too. Hey, you know what's funny? I'm standing over here and I just hear this voice. So I'm like,
we just need to hear you. We just need to hear you talk.
He loves me.
We just want to make sure we get your sound.
Lolo.
I got one thing to say. The greatest teammate of all time, one of the greatest men of all time, Lolo, PB. Holla at you.
Holla at you, Mo.
Drew, do you love coming back to New Orleans? Do you love it here?
I love seeing this guy. That's what I love. Yeah.
We're coming.
In fact, I'm gonna go get some gumbo right now. I gotta eat a little bit. I'm jumping back on something in about 15 minutes.
Okay, you come back and see us, maybe?
Yeah, we'll come back and see
Okay.
you.
Love you, man. Love you.
Nice Drew Brees sighting there. Gotta love
They'll be
it.
here. They'll be here this weekend.
Very cool. Thanks,
Yeah.
Drew. So sweet. He's awesome. He loves. Oh my God, he loves him some Lolo. Seriously, I mean,
I almost loved. Doc Chow. I'm telling you, it was San Diego was unbelievable. Me and Doc he was just a team doctor, but he's a better friend. Drew, great player, great teammate, better friend. It's interesting. We're playing against, and Doc, you remember this. We're playing against the Chicago Bears. We draft Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is on the team. I think we've started off 2-0-2. We wasn't playing that well. And so Phillip Rivers is on the team. He's a rookie. Drafted him top 5 picks. So Drew's in his year, and they're like, okay, they're going to put the rookie. So Marty walks up to Drew and says, hey, I just got the call. We're playing a game against Chicago Bears in Soldier Field. And Marty walks up and says, I just got the call. AJ want to go with the kid. I'm going to give you one more series. This is during the game. I walk over to Drew, and I hear what happens. Man, just leave. I said, man, stop looking around. I said, we believe you. Go lead. We win that game and go won like 4 straight. Drew holds him off the whole year. At that moment, I didn't think anything, 5 years later, while he's still in the league, he writes a book and talk about what was one of the most defining moments in his career, and he talked about that particular moment. It's in his book.
I mean, isn't it amazing? And then Brian Jock comes over here. It's like, it's so cool to hear these stories of all these. Oh,
Let's
my
go crazy,
God.
Hey, welcome back into the Bleav here with Lo Neal, and I have 2 of the men, the myth, and the legend. And I've got a Hall of Famer. I got Andre, the man Reed, and my boy JP here on the Bleav. We're just going to talk a little sports and talk about what you guys are doing, fellas. Thanks for jumping on the Bleav podcast with your boy. What's going on?
Lo, when it comes to you, there's a lot going on.
Why you going, bro? We just having fun. Why you
I know.
Why you always put my double?
Thing is, I was getting ready to leave out. I was getting ready to leave out, and I looked to the left, and there you are. I was like, I got to go talk to him. No, thanks, man, for having me. Let me tell you one thing about this guy right here, man. I love the way he played the game. His son, too. Can play.
Son be balling. Ain't scared of nobody. Just like his daddy.
And
I used to try to beat his daddy up. His daddy be like, Lo Neal, we ain't doing it. When you get that, we're here all day. We're here all day.
Dude, how low can you go?
Man, that's why.
How low can you go?
On my phone is under Lo Neal. Like
Low?
Lo Neal. Cause like when the fullback started getting out the game, I was like, damn, man, they still got Lo Neal. His ass the only fullback that's still gonna be fullback. Because all other fullbacks turned into receiving fullbacks, right? But like I'm talking about old school, you played with Sam Gash.
Sam Gash.
You got Lo Neal.
Him and Sam Gash, I think, from the same mold.
Right. That's the better version. Sam Gash was just old school, big ass neck roll. You can make Sam Gash miss. Like you can act like you about to hit him and lay him because he's him. Wow, he was the athletic version.
That wrestling background, baby.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what it was. He could stay in front of you.
Lolo. Can I tell a story?
Oh, go ahead. Drake got story time.
Probably about 10, 15 years ago, we were
Story
playing
time
golf.
with Drake.
And we were in San Diego, and it happened to be Lowe and LaDainian Thompson with 2 other dudes in front of me and my group. So we're playing golf all day, da-da-da-da. At the end of the round, we go in there, to get a little hot tidies or whatever. So the dude in his group got a hole-in-one. Man, I ain't leave there till like, I was in there for 9 hours.
He left his car, JP. He left his car. He didn't want to
leave my car in there.
I can be honest with you right now.
My car and my club.
I'll tell you the truth. I do not want to be nowhere around when Lo Neal folks get a hole-in-one. I know what that is.
Dog, I was looking for my car, looking for my clubs, and couldn't get out the place.
So of late what's been coming on the feed of YouTube. Just they've been showing the old clips of
Pro Bowl.
The Pro Bowl, and they showed the clip of the Pro Bowl where Larry Allen
when they played the Pro Bowl.
Back, listen, all this stuff ain't the same. If you ain't in Hawaii, when you get off that plane, you know, with that lace on your neck, it changes your life. Like you know where you went somewhere. Like it was a sense of pride to where when you made the Pro Bowl, people wasn't quick to give that pass up like they give this pass up to Orlando. No, you taking your family and you about to enjoy this week in Iolani, and soon as you get off the plane, ain't nothing like the smell of that fresh flower.
And you're going to another island for another week.
That part. Talk about it. So they've been showing clips of that. So back when we was in there, mid-low, you know, at the pool party, start off drinking at the pool, talking, who can out drink who? You know that's how the conversation started, right?
Dre, you already started laughing. Dre,
write that down.
Yeah,
who now drink who?
So the because I was there, we talking crazy. So we ended up going down to Waikiki like we do. We got it in. Mind you, on the way back home, there was a lot of throwing up by me, passed out. And then we had that bench press competition in the morning. So we're like, damn, man, we got to go pick up this check. So we got to go in here and compete. We already thinking nobody has a chance to win it because Larry Allen is over there. He's about to probably do it 50 times. We put up good numbers, and people don't believe what we did the night before. So I be telling people, like, man,
y'all Hercules or something.
We were built different. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel good about how I can drink and get up and go handle it. But Low felt the same way. His ass, he put one on me tonight. Like,
let me ask you something.
I put him to sleep.
Let me ask you something. What's different about these kids now? If you had to, 2 words, what's different about these kids in the last 15 years?
For me, I just think the disconnect with the veterans, like when we came in, I could just like, cause y'all played against everybody I'm about to talk about. My nose tackle was Joel Steve. My center was Damani Dawson. I had Nolan Harrison. I had older Levon Kirk was my middle linebacker. You know what I mean? I got real vets that's telling me this is how I go, young fella. My first day of minicamp OTAs. Chris Odom, CO, OG CO, where you at?
Yeah.
He said, "Hey, young fella, man, you got to run off the field, man. Don't never walk." Something like that. So I never walked on the football field again. This is just an OTA practice. But how the vets take young guys in and show you these young guys come in now and they want to run it instead of listening to how it's a reason.
Entitlement.
Man, it's
instead
crazy.
Of empowerment.
It's crazy. They don't want to work for what. I just feel like as long as the vet is being a veteran, like, because you got to look at it, when you come in, ain't no rookie, no second-year player about to tell us about nothing how you doing it. You're about to get in with us and do it how we do it. When you was the head receiver in your room, it's you and all the guys in there. Ain't no rookie about to come in there and say, dictate. Or dictate or run a lazy route and think it ain't a repercussion. So, we have changes where you keep track of MEs, misassignments, right. And you got to pay the fine at the end of the week. That rule was put in by design by the older guys to make sure we know who's messing up, and you got to pay that fine because you got to be held accountable.
It's called accountability.
That's it.
And I think the young kids, they know what that means, but with all that's around them, the world now we live in, accountability goes out the window.
Why you say that though?
And it's about me, just me.
No, I agree.
It's about me.
It's 53 individual contracts.
Their team, they are the definition of IND.
Yep. I believe it.
They are.
No, but you guys are hitting it right on it because what's changed is because of society we lived in. You got NIA. Look what NIL. Look what they're doing to high school. Look what they're doing to college. But it's a trickle down effect, and now you're losing the competitive edge. Not that guys aren't trying, but they don't know what it's like to struggle. You come in kids are now coming in already a million.
It's just bottom line. It's just training camp.
Right.
Training camp was hard,
but
2 or 3 times a day.
And I understand, but this is what I'm saying even about the money. The money doesn't bother them. They have the money, right?
Right.
You come in as a rookie because you got to think y'all came in from the old school. When the rookie came in, he was the highest player on the team and didn't even play yet.
Right.
So y'all been dealing with that. So that ain't the problem. But that same rookie that was about to fucking make $7 million, it was this guy.
Right.
He had to do what every vet told him to do.
Just
because he was a rookie, you don't do no veteran stuff. You're a rookie.
Yeah.
You gonna go buy the donuts.
I don't think the vets, because there's not a lot of vets on teams anyway. It's not really your like 7 guys that have played 5 or more years. You think there's teams like have 7 guys on their team that played 5 or more years?
Yeah.
5 to 10.
Well, you're still gonna
Maybe
have
5 years, but not like 9 or 10.
It's hard for a vet to get to any team where it'd be 13 years and 12 years. But at the same time, if you're a vet, somebody told you something. You came in as a vet.
Of course.
You have to pass that.
Pass it. Yeah.
They're not passing.
They're not passing. Yeah.
Jerry Butler was like,
Who was your OG when you came in as a rookie? Who was the lead
on our
receiver?
team?
Who was the lead receiver in there?
it was Jerry Butler. So I watched Jerry Butler do everything.
And then Moles watch you.
Moles watched me.
Everybody, because I played against everybody that came in, followed how you worked. Tasker,
Watch me.
everybody else followed the
Watch
lead,
me.
right? And then when y'all left, whoever's the
But
last
is there a
receiver-
progression like that now? You mean if you were like a fly on the wall and you went from the meetings to the practice field? I don't know if there's that respect. I don't know if that respect is there anymore.
And that's where you lost it at. Because when the vet,
How did it get lost?
how you don't respect the vet?
Do you think it's the
It's
coaching
called,
ain't
it's called
Definitely that.
They're individualized.
But even if you individualize, right? Let's say that they believe in themselves so much as a vet. So I'm on the team, or if I'm a coach, I'm on the team, and I'm in year 10, year whatever. We get a young guy that's going to help us. I'm going to pour into him. I'm showing how we practice, showing what time you need to get here.
Yeah, I had to do that. That was
That's
part of my
just
job.
That's you wanted to do it. That's part of your job, right?
So when the vet don't want to do that no more because he just like, well, I'm not about to stick
Like,
around.
why
and do
should
it.
I have to?
It's over. What we talking about? Who? If you don't want to do what somebody did to you, you don't want to pass that on. Everybody that came in at some point in time had somebody take you on the wing and show you the ropes, and the person that don't want to pass that baton is selfish because you had somebody look out for you to show you. Wait, I came in as a rookie. I learned everything from my big brothers.
And
I came in there. I didn't come in there acting like I knew nothing. I did what they told me to do. I had good vets, and I know who was going to tell me the right thing to do. Like, man. So Coach Cowher had pop-up questions on game day. He'll ask you. He'll give us like top run that Buffalo's going to do. Right? Going to run a power or the lead or this. Get in there Saturday night before the game. He's going to have that pop-up question. The young guys wasn't taking down the notes on Wednesday meet. On Wednesday meet, right?
So this is
Saturday.
Saturday
So
night.
you already know if he calls on you
On Saturday,
ask
you
him
ain't
Saturday,
prepared.
You about to cancel Christmas?
Hey, it's like you feel like you're gonna get cut.
Right.
You remember the fear we had? I mean, I'm talking about
Getting on the board and you stutter. Come up here.
And my vet JG had the book sitting right there so I can see the notes too. Because you want to make sure that if
you're okay.
like, you don't want your position to get called and be prepared. That affected the whole position, right? Like, because we looking at now we gotta hear this shit. He about to trip.
But let's
Think
wrap
about that.
all this around and say, you know what? The mental part of the game is where you win most of the time. Physically, yes.
Right.
You got to be this, do that. But just look at the way to get the Chiefs this year won with coaching more than anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Andy Reid just out-coached people.
He definitely was on the stage.
So I think players now, are they asking for more from the coaches? Or they, like you said just a minute ago, they're going there doing their own thing and not really like taking that into consideration? I think it's a little bit of both.
So you
Because they
think
want to be individualized, but when something goes wrong, they don't want to take any blame for it. They think it's the front office or the coaches or this or that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
do you guys believe when you're looking at we're talking about this and kind of getting into the game this week, the Super Bowl, talking about both these two teams. So do you guys think that Andy Reid is more of a leader of his team than Sirianni is of his team? What
No,
I don't think he's that.
I don't think anything we talking about
compared to
affects
these two?
two teams.
No.
These are the two teams that got it right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why they're here. You ain't hearing nothing out of coming from the camps. Like you had the one little peep where every
during the
receiver
want to play. You just want every receiver wants the ball.
That's not even worth,
But
right?
then
Bring it up.
during the middle of the year, Sirianni kind of felt like he lost the team a little bit.
Because
You know what I mean?
He had a little break. He had a
play
little
receiver.
And he had a little break
You know how
there.
that goes.
Yeah.
Like go 3 games in a row, you can call 2 rocks. in 3 games straight.
Okay.
That's gonna
He said, okay. Dre said, okay.
It's gonna get a different Dre. You're gonna be a little salty, but they ain't gonna play with you like
how
that.
many wins we got.
So they never play with you like that.
No.
They know to feed the beast.
No, they never
You
would.
see what I'm saying?
He said they never would. He said they
Why
never.
would we?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is Tecmo Bowl he been killing. Like this, and,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
And he had plays on there was unstoppable on Tecmo Bowl.
Oh, look at this
yes,
right
they're
here.
going
Could that do?
Hey, the next lights in guy's coming in.
Man, all my OGs.
How many times have you been mistaken for Rod
All my
Woodson?
OGs is pulling up.
I've been called Rod Woodson about 10 times. all light-skinned people.
He said all light skinned people. Like, oh my God.
Hey, man, appreciate you guys having me.
Man, always.
No worries,
Love.
no worries, dog. Appreciate it, bro.
Get on here.
Give me a prediction real quick before you get out of here.
I don't predict. I want
got
the
you.
team in the green to win for sure.
Okay. Gotcha. Hey,
Speaking of legendary, the one and only
He took my Super Bowl ring from me.
Marshall Faulk in the house. Marshall, thank you so much for stopping by. We know this is your
Let's go
town.
crazy, Daddy.
We know you are a busy, busy man, and I'm excited to talk to you about your project, something that I'm also very passionate about. But first and foremost, when did you get in? How you doing, Marshall Faulk?
I got in yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How's it been?
I mean, it's good. I'm home.
Yeah, it's
So,
home for you.
Yeah, it's a home game.
Okay. Do you have a million handlers? Because like the thing is, when you drop down and you're in town, you must have a million people like coming at you.
There's a million people. Yes, definitely. but you know, I'm a little old school. I roll small,
Yeah.
and nobody's hanging around without a job to do. If they're with me, they have something that they're in charge of, that they're responsible for. There's just there's no freeloaders. No, just
Right.
I'm here for a good time.
Yeah.
No,
Keep it tight.
exactly.
You keep it
I run a
tight.
tight ship.
I mean, we saw Jordan Love have like what 30 people
Oh,
behind him making his rounds.
Yeah, but I mean, he don't, outside of calling plays, he don't know anything in life yet.
yes.
Very
yeah.
profound.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Very
So
Yeah.
he needs people to tell him what's going on around him.
Yeah.
And I was there once. I mean, that's
Sure. That's what we all
Sure.
were.
yeah, and that's what you kind of want to be dedicated to the game to that extent. That's part of that life, and he'll definitely start to transition, and he'll start to kind of take control of a lot of things in his life. And I don't know if he's married yet, but I think he's close. I think I saw him and his girlfriend or wife or fiance on a commercial, and then she's going to take some control. And
Then it happens. Then life begins.
yeah,
And the circle gets smaller.
Yep.
How is the golf game? Because
Yeah.
Aaron, to tell you, I was saying, hey, this is one brother that can play some golf. Are you out playing a lot still? Or?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I live in San Diego, so we get pretty much 300 amazing days to play golf, and I love doing it. I'm passionate about playing. Like I'm obsessed with getting better. So I put the time in to get better.
I want to talk to you about the truth about drugs momentarily. But before we get to that, of course, I've got a fullback and a running back with me. Let's talk about the resurgence of that position. I love listening to you speak about the game. You have such an intellectual perspective and way of seeing things. How do you see this game going? I know you're going to get that question a million times, but also how do you feel as a running back seeing what we're seeing with regards to Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley?
I mean, it's the game of football, unfortunately for the game and where the league took the game. Let's
what do you mean by that?
Let's call a spade a spade. I'll explain.
Okay.
The league took the game to this passing league. When you create defenseless receiver, illegal contact, you can only hit the quarterback above the knee and below the shoulder. You make the game of throwing. It's just too many great things that can happen when you throw the ball.
Yeah.
They've made the game this. You don't have a quarterback, you're crappy. Like you can't win a Super Bowl with a Trent Dilfer right now. That's not happening. A Brad Johnson can't win for you. You're not doing it. It's just, it doesn't happen in today's league. So you move the game in the regular season to, hey, let's throw the ball all the time. And then when you get in the playoffs, if you pay attention, you win the line of scrimmage, you win. And the only way to win a line of scrimmage is by running the football. That's it. Like every team that wins the Super Bowl, pay attention, they're going to win. They're running the ball better.
Mm-hmm.
Always happens.
So then is that your prediction? Where are you leaning towards? Because we're seeing just like Pat Mahomes, even lesser play this season. He's sacked career high 36 times this year. Where are you leaning towards in terms of who you think is going to end up winning?
Listen, he's pulled a bunch of Houdinis this season.
Yeah.
And he's like an X factor in the sense that what I'm talking about, he has the ability to defy. But winning the line of scrimmage is the most important thing. But in winning the line of scrimmage, the quarterback that plays the best always wins.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to outplay Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Super hard. I mean, Jalen did it the last time they played in the Super Bowl, but the fumble, you give up 7 points in the Super Bowl. That costs you every time. And as much as I believe Philadelphia is going to run the ball better, and better might not be more yards, better may be more effective. I think that they're going to have to throw the ball. You got to throw the ball to beat Pat.
You think you think Kansas City can slow down Saquon? And is it Spags? You love the way he comes at you from the defense, because Philly has a pretty good defense as well. How are you predicating these defense plays?
I believe that there's nothing that Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes hasn't seen before. Let's just like bar none. Now, I believe that Spagnuolo has a knack for creating something that a coach hasn't seen or maybe didn't prepare for. And my question is this, and this is always like, can Saquon play the game and allow the game to come to him? Or is he going to be trying to hit the big play? In games like this, it's hard to get away from trying to make plays.
Well, and Rams legend here, of course, Marshall Faulk, Aaron Coscarelli, Lo Neal. The Rams almost had it. That was a really tough game for me to watch because if Saquon didn't have those two big runs, he was under 100 yards. I think he only had 62 rushing yards aside from those two big breakaway runs. The Rams almost had it. What do you make of what you've seen from the Rams this year? Cooper Kupp announcing that the Rams are going to look to trade him he posted it on social media on Monday. And what's your take on the future of the Rams? I mean, things are interesting, certainly there.
I just love how the Rams, their organization and what they do.
Yeah.
It's all about it. They understand the nature of the beast, and it's about getting better, not getting older.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, aside from the quarterback position, you'll move. Listen, for Cooper Kupp, I'm sure he's probably in his feelings. He's feeling some type of way. But Luka Doncic, like this, like, hey, if he can get traded in any sport, anybody can go. Like it's just don't think you're above being moved. And I learned that back when the 49ers allowed Joe Montana to go to Kansas City. I was like, are you crazy?
Right.
Yeah, no. It is a business. But what I love that they're doing is not that they're trying to get young and they understand what Puka means, and that that Cooper the last 3 years he's missed a lot of games.
Yeah.
They are in agreement to send him somewhere that's good for him too. Mm-hmm. It's like they want to place him, and I watched him do that with Robert Woods too. Mm-hmm. They didn't just send Robert to to go that way. Hey, we want to make sure you go to a good team. Mm-hmm. And teams don't always do that. Like I think about when I got traded, the GM for the Rams, he didn't send me to a winner. He sent me to the second losingest team in the damn 90s. He sent me to the Rams. I was supposed to go die.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And look at you now. I know we want to be respectful of your time, Marshall Faulk, Rams legend, Hall of Famer. You mentioned something really interesting, and you talked about Jordan Love, and about he had a ton of people, a bunch of handlers, and as you sort of mature, things tighten up a little bit, and you evolve, and you really make sure to keep your circle tight and protected. And one of the things that I've always respected you is you've been a truth teller. You're so honest about your own journey. You've been very vulnerable. I think a lot of men look to you as someone that can guide them and help them because you are open. Tell us more about the truth about drugs, which is something that you talk about very passionately on social media. And I think it impacts and helps a lot of people who may be struggling.
Yeah. For me, it's a very easily organic way to get into a divisive topic. In the world today, nobody wants to be told what to do. And back when we were growing up, it was like, don't do drugs. The DARE program, they're just telling you not to. The kids today are smarter. So you have to provide them education, and you got to tell them the truth about what it's like doing different drugs and what are some of the what are the downsides, what are the repercussions. And through education is how we're reaching them, letting them know, like, hey, even vaping, even alcohol, like these are the issues. We may be able to have a drink, but there's somebody that can't have a drink because that drink leads to a whole bottle.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole nother spiral. And you got to know yourself, and you got to know what the opposition is in the sense of whatever you're doing. So I don't go around telling people don't do it. I'm like, educate yourself on what you're doing, make sure you understand what it is, and then make the best decision for you.
Right.
And that's my approach with this.
What's fulfilling when you're doing this approach? Because people don't need told what to do. This ought to be reminded. I totally agree with you. And what did you get out of it when you're doing this? What is the biggest thing that you take away from it?
The biggest thing that I take away from it is when kids then start telling kids. When I hear another kid encouraging another kid, because the influence to try a drug starts with peer pressure or your peers looking, oh my God, he smoked weed, he seemed so cool. And then you're like, well, maybe I should try it.
Right. Yeah.
This is the reverse effect.
Yeah.
Hey, I went to this website, I learned this about, don't do that. And then that person then says it to someone else.
Yeah.
It's the same domino effect, man. It's like the same things that move something bad, move things in a good way.
How is it being, when did you get in?
This morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Be careful.
Listen.
I get nervous.
I'm nervous. Who would be nervous around the legend like Marcus?
No.
All right, so
I'm nervous around him.
I know. Why do you always give me the look?
Hey, Fresno Snake had a good coach.
You think so?
Yeah.
I kind of hate it that they got rid of Skip.
Well, I didn't know much about that.
Okay, but is Matt? You think he's gonna turn the program around? Really? Do you have a great relationship with this guy? You think
got to know him in a short period of time. I thought it was what you would want in a head coach.
Can recruit?
I think he can do all that. Yeah, I mean, it's
Well,
a challenge.
express.
He did a great job in North Dakota and stuff like that, but I think his linebackers love playing for him.
Really?
Yes.
But does that mean we're going to be engraced by your presence down to Fresno? If you come to Fresno, I'll take care of you. I'll take you to the forum, let you see my pigs, my cows.
It's so funny that I'm sitting here like with coordination, man. You got a little orange in the shirt. You got your orange shoes on. Listen, honestly, most fullbacks, they just kind of look sloppy. Most of them, right?
Thank
You're the exception and not the norm. Bullshit. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did I do something?
Oh my goodness.
Hey, you know what? I love you, man.
No, we do this all the time.
We do.
I mean, this guy has so much pull. Everybody stops by. We just had Drew Brees come by. Like,
it's all about first of all, the personality.
Yeah.
Can't get past that, and then it's about relationships. That's what it's about. And he's always been cool. Always been cool.
And you've always been great. You've always been a leader. I've always looked up to you, watch you play, or watch you.
Wait, I watched you play, dude. I fell off my big wheel watching you. Dude, it was like,
I remember I was I was getting recruited by SC, and you wouldn't even know. This guy's like a blimp on, I'm not even gonna go there. And I was walking through the parking lot. And USC was playing Notre Dame, and it was supposed to be a big game. Notre Dame crushed you guys. So you were, and that was '89 because I was recruited. And you were in the parking lot, and I was like, man, there's Marcus Allen. And then getting drafted, that was in high school. So and then 4 years later, I'm in college, of course, and this guy's, and then to go and actually see him, that's Marcus Allen. So, and then over the years and just the relationships we had, golf tournaments, hanging out, he'd watch me get hammered and like, look, you're drunk. What are you doing?
Tell me something, did you lift before you come on here?
No, you know what I did? No,
He did. He hit the gym.
Why you ain't doing it?
Do you leave any weight in the weight room at all? Do you just bring it home with you? What are you? You're constantly just pumped up, dude. What's going on?
You know what?
Huh? Are you trying to make a comeback? What are you? All right.
Okay.
Anyway,
who's winning the game?
we
You know what?
can't-
Who's winning the
we
game?
can't
real
let-
quick?
yeah, exactly.
Who's winning?
I don't know.
At both teams.
Listen here. You got to beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs are not, Listen, I expected them, honestly, watching games and watch several games.
Didn't think they'd be here this
I
year.
didn't. Yeah, absolutely. But they find a way to win, and you got to give them their due. And Mosier 15 and Andy Reid, who just seems to dial up the right play at the right time, and quarterback just makes play after play, whether it's through the air, on the ground, and then Stephen Bell at DC.
Yeah, Spags can get out.
But
Bench from
yeah, I mean those are they got great coaches on
both sides.
Yeah.
Kansas City.
Well, what do you do? I mean, what would you do if you were a coordinator? What would you do if you were the coordinator against?
If I'm playing against
if you were Kansas City, what would you do?
I put 8 guys in the box, and I can't let Saquon beat me. And then I'm doubling number 11 because he's too physical as a receiver. I'm going to roll my safety over the top, and I'm going to play man.
So you're going to say, okay, yeah, that would make sense, and put the hands in the game in the hands of the quarterback and the tight end and Smith, Heisman Trophy winner. So it's like,
but what do you do?
So they got good players all the way around.
Both teams.
Because you're Kansas, if you're Philadelphia, what would you do in Kansas City? Wouldn't you make 87 beat you? It's like,
yes.
I mean, excuse me, you take him out the game.
You got
anybody else beat
anybody
you,
but Travis. Anybody but Travis. Every time
these coordinators is like, oh my gosh. But anyway, you're neither a DC and I'm not an OC, and we're fans. And we're what do we do? I think we're intelligent people just with opinions. That's it. And we have no idea. That's what I just like. We just got to sit back and just watch and enjoy it. We can make these educated guesses, but nobody will. I've always said, I don't know who, missed curfew last night, who stayed up late, who's nervous.
That's right.
I don't know any of that stuff.
So many factors.
But yeah, we're like, oh yeah, these guys are good.
You're
I
right.
know. So much speculation.
Now, if you were on the field, I would definitely.
You know what?
I'm going with.
We gotta get a
Okay,
picture
you're
with them.
the best, man. Thanks for stopping by, brother.
Would you shut up?
No, I'm
too?
serious,
Oh,
man.
man.
I love
Lo
and
has
respect.
so much pull. Everybody loves
No, I
him.
do. Hey, bro,
I
I
can't
do
even
respect.
believe we just
dude.
got
Come
Marcus
on.
Allen. Can we
Come on,
take
Blue.
a quick? Can we
Give
take
my
a
boy,
quick photo? Our guy Sean O'Hara, Super Bowl champion. So much to talk to you. So good to see your face. How are you doing? How was
Doing
everything?
great.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Always like the nicest guy at NFL Network. When we worked together, you were just always like, you were so nice. You know how I judge a person's character? How do you treat the interns? How do you treat the makeup? Like, you just were always really good to,
Well, listen, the interns are the ones that bring you here.
Oh,
You gotta, I mean, there's a method to the
That's
madness.
smart.
Like, you got to know who's supplying the liquids
Sure.
and the whiskey. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
there we
like,
go.
Last time I was with Lo, I think it was the Super Bowl was down in Houston. I think we were hanging out a little bit.
Yeah.
That's look, we were paid to not be nice for
Right.
so many years.
Right.
Now it's
Right.
like it's nice to be on the other side.
There's a really funny JJ Watt commercial. Have you guys seen it where he's
Which
like,
one?
it was like, I used to take people down and
Yes.
now I try to lift people up. And I think it might have been, was it a truck commercial?
Yes, it is.
Anyways, it's not lost on me, the irony of he was a very scary man, and now I'm sure much nicer when you're no longer playing the
Yeah.
game of tackle football.
Well,
huh?
and having kids changes you. Now
Yeah.
JJ's nice because now he's a soft dad.
Right,
and
Yeah.
got kids, and he's got another
Right.
one on the way.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
when you're done playing, there's not a lot to be angry about. Like you're
True.
just like you're living the good life.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, there's a lot to talk to you about. I mean, I don't know, Lo. My first question, and this is going to be a tough one. How did you feel though because Giants fans still upset about letting go of Saquon as a player and having to make those hard choices? I'm sure Saquon didn't want to leave and go. Obviously things really worked out for him in Philly. How did you feel about that? And have your thoughts changed as he's obviously done very well there in Philly?
Yeah, listen, I think everybody's been conflicted. So I know Saquon. He's a friend of mine. He's a great dude. I've gotten to know him from the moment he was drafted by the Giants. And he was an unbelievable ambassador for the Giants, for the NFL. And we're not surprised that he's continuing that with the Eagles. I'm not surprised with the production he's having either, though. And I'm genuinely happy for him. But I get it. Giants fans are conflicted. And like the analogy that I will use, and this may backfire on me, but it's almost like, all right, you have a buddy who's got a sports car,
Right.
but he can't drive a stick. And it's like you're just watching him like going around driving around the neighborhood, and the thing's like clunking, and it's like you're gonna burn out the clutch, like you don't know what you're doing. And it's like, all right, you know how to drive a stick, you get in there, and now you show up. Now it's like, damn, I got a really good car because now I know how to drive it, and I'm not messing up. So that's kind of what has happened. Like Saquon, look, he never had this type of season with the Giants because they just they couldn't block people the way that Philly does. Philly's offensive line is one of the best in the league, if not the best. So that was an immediate upgrade for him. And now Saquon's a kind of running back. And Lo, you know this, you were with LT and you played with some unbelievable running backs. If you can get a guy like Saquon to the second level, that's a wrap.
Right.
The Rams still upset about it.
They can give you a 10 to 12 yard, 15-yard run, but not every running back can give you 60. And not everybody running back can run through a safety or run over a corner and make a guy miss, juke him, jump over him.
Yeah.
That's why you drafted him second overall when the Giants picked him. Dave Gettleman's probably smiling this whole season. He's the general manager that drafted him.
Right.
And people raked him over the coals for why would you take a guy? That's why you take a guy. Generous your talent, but they just couldn't get it right.
But look, sure, the money was an issue, but then the contract to Daniel Jones, like so many people are just upset, it feels like, with mismanagement of being able to sort of navigate that whole thing with the Giants roster. How did you feel about that? And what do you hear from Giants fans and how frustrated they must be?
Well, I mean, they're irate and they're tired of it because this isn't like just a one-off. I mean, it's been, there's been multiple years of this. And when Joe Shane and Brian Daboll came in, they thought that, all right, the dark days are behind us. We're moving on towards the light. And it just hasn't worked out. Now, look, Daniel got hurt. He blew his knee out. I don't think him coming back this year, I don't know if he was actually back to who he was. When you have an ACL, it takes you 2 years to really start feeling, or a full year and a half to really feel like you're back to who you were. And it didn't work out. And it's, Andrew Thomas getting hurt didn't help. Your best offensive lineman 2 years in a row now goes down, and the domino effect that creates. So it's been tough. It's been tough to see as a former Giant, and then also do the post-game shows and feel the misery of the fans and try to keep it real because, you can't, patronize them and you can't BS them. Look, it's not good enough, and we've got to find a way to get it better. And then it's also tough because I know Daniel Jones, and I've become friends with him, and he's a great kid. And you know what? He did everything in his power to try to be great, and it didn't work out. Now, there were times where, he was running for his life. So it's not all on Daniel Jones. It's not all Saquon's fault. It's a team effort, and the team has not been good enough, and that's why they're both not there anymore. It's frustrating to watch. It's tough to watch, but it's also the league. You look around the league, there are teams that miss every single year on draft picks, and it's look, if you're a GM, if you 50% of your draft picks work out, I think you're doing a pretty damn good job. You're gonna keep your job. But you look at what John Lynch did in San Francisco, right? So they draft Trey Lance and Brock Purdy. And things don't work out. They cut bait a Trey Lance, they move on. Brock Purdy has worked out, so nobody's even talking about Trey Lance and that misstep. So it's once you realize that it's not working out, you've got to pull the Band-Aid off and you've got to move in another direction. And as long as you can, find a way to accelerate that process, then people won't look against you.
When you see talent like Saquon, and do you think that if him and Daniels together, this doesn't happen, and they're together, do you save both those guys' jobs and then you see a running back go second overall? When you see generational talent like that, you have to jump on the second round. You know the running back position with all the things that have been going on.
Yeah, I think it also depends on where are you as an organization. If you're going to take that that running back second overall, like what does the team look like? You can't pick him and then build around him. You got to build the house first and then put the roof on. Like you can't have the roof first and then try to put studs around it to hold it up. So it's what is the environment? And it's the same thing with the quarterback now, because everybody asks me, hey, what quarterback are the Giants going to draft this year? And I'm like, just remember that this team is not a quarterback fix away. Like it's not, hey, let's go get a quarterback and now boom, all of a sudden we're going to be in the NFC Championship game. Like they have to build depth on this team. There's a lot of holes that they still have to fix, and they've got to improve the team in a lot of different areas, not just one position.
Yeah, because it sets the franchise back so far when there's a miss, especially at the quarterback position. So then what do you, when people ask, what do you recommend that the Giants can do to sort of stop the bleeding this upcoming season? Like you said, it's not just like kicking this quarterback. It's,
My advice to them is draft 2.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Like one of them is probably not going to work out. So if you draft 2, look, the Washington did it a couple years ago. They drafted RG3 and Kirk Cousins, and it's like, hey, like I don't know, maybe we get 2. But I think the hard thing is, if you're a team sitting there and you have the second, third, or fourth overall pick, every year is different. So it's not just, hey, we're just going to take a quarterback. You've got to grade them and look, is this guy worthy of a second pick overall? Is this guy worth a third pick overall? And if he's not, you can't overpick. You can't just say, we're going to take him just because we need to have a quarterback. So, look, if you go through and evaluate it, and if the right move is we're going to trade back. I mean, Bo Nix was a second-round pick. Purdy, I mentioned, was a 6th-round pick. Dak Prescott was a 4th-round pick. Russell Wilson was a 3rd-round pick. So if there is a guy later on in the draft that you feel like is better value in the 2nd round or 3rd round compared to what his grade looks like over reaching for somebody with a 3rd overall pick, and it doesn't work out, and then now you're looking for a draft.
Do you look at it in a situation you're in the Giants, you're playing the GM, we're saying, okay, let you play the GM. Is it you say, look, I'm going to go in free agency and get one of these backup guys, for Andy Dalton, Red Epistle, a guy that's a backup, and say, this guy's going to come in here for 2 years. I'm going to build in the draft, build because we have so many holes. Is that, you think, that should be the Giants' approach, or are so many teams pressured to say, I got to get the face of the franchise? Is when you look at it, can the Giants, through the teams, have enough time to say, I'm not getting the face of the franchise because the face of the franchise will be out of here because the team is not ready for it?
Yeah, I think it's, if you feel like there's a guy that, man, absolutely, this guy's worth the 3rd overall pick, and you want to be the face of the franchise, that's great. But you've got to hit on all the other draft picks too. So I'm with you. I think you draft a quarterback and then you sign a quarterback, but I would sign a guy that wants to play. Not a guy that's just delegated to, hey, I'm just coming in to be the backup. Justin Fields, and it was like, hey, you two battle it out.
Right.
And look, Russell won the job in training camp, and he hurts his calf, so Justin starts the season off. But, guys like that, I would bring them in and say, look, your job is to make this rookie sit and watch his first year, right? Like Alex Smith did with Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes was a stud, but they were like, no, Alex Smith is playing, and they went to the AFC Championship game or the 2nd round of the playoffs that year, and Mahomes sat. So I think that is what you would want to do. I want to bring in 2 quarterbacks. It can be a guy that's trying to resurrect his career, or a guy that is still trying to compete and wants to be a starter, but then also bring in a young guy.
Well, I mean, let's talk a little bit about coaching, because you've been able to see guys that went down, right? Kevin O'Connell being a great example of, figuring out how to sort of be the quarterback whisperer for a guy like a Sam Darnold or a Baker Mayfield, or what Sean McVay did for Baker when Baker came to LA that one year. Do the Giants have the coaching staff to sort of make magic in the event these kinds of things happen? Because I think at the end of the day, it's the coaching, right? Like we talked about it yesterday. It's like the coaching is so important to these teams. Do you think that that's something that they need to look at as well?
Yeah, I think that Brian Daboll is a heck of a coach, and he's got championship rings from college football. He's got Super Bowl rings. He understands offensive concepts. The hard thing is when you have plays picked and everything is there and there's plays to be made and it doesn't work out. Like, the coaches get the blame. But like there are times where I'll turn on the film and I'm like, the guy's open, like missed the throw.
Right.
Or
right,
hey, you know what? The guy is open and somebody missed a blitz pickup and now it's a sack. So when you're watching dysfunctional football, like I always blame the players first. I'm like, dude, that was poor execution. Like you should have known, you should have seen the role for safety blitz. Like check out of it. What are you doing? Like there's got to be answers for it. So I look at scheme standpoint. You brought up Kevin O'Connell and what Sam Darnold has did for them this year. I look at that. That was the perfect scenario for Sam Darnold because, like I mentioned before, the team around him was great. Like he had great offensive weapons. He had great offensive line. Two of the best tackles in the league, and Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill. So for the first time in Sam Darnold's career, he was protected. And look, I don't have to worry about what's happening right here in front of me. I can just focus on my job. So that's really what enabled them to succeed. And even Baker Mayfield down in Tampa Bay, like he had a really good offensive line. And I think that has helped them. They've been able to run the football. I think that's a big part of it. So to answer your question, the coaching staff, look, I saw some growth. I saw some positive things from the team. But that needs to continue. And look, if you draft a young quarterback, you've got to trust that your guys are going to continue to help him grow. Like he should not be the same quarterback after year one as the kid that you drafted. Like you've got to progress him and you've got to teach him.
Did you think the whole the way that the situation happened, and I know you're close to the Giants, so please give us this transparent. Did you think how they handled it was right? I mean, it was very odd what happened with Daniel Jones and like the press and like I really just feel like they put their quarterback in a position where they did not set him up for success, but I'm not really sure what to think of that. What was your take?
It didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And I think not just being a former Giant, like in any situation, when you look at the way you went from being the starting quarterback to not even being on the team, like within a week. Like that's hard. Like and just when you know what Daniel Jones represented throughout his entire career, he said and did everything the right way.
Who made that decision? Do you think it was because Daniel said, "Hey, trade me"? Do you think it was him or the coach or the front office?
Well, I mean, there was conversation on all fronts. The challenge, I think, that kind of threw a whole wrinkle in everything was when it happened. Daniel was getting benched, and he understood, and he said, "Look, I'm going to be a great teammate, whatever I can do. Can I come in and be practice squad quarterback? I want to be there to help out Tommy DeVito and." Be a voice for him and try to help him grow, and it's his chance to go. And I get that. Like I understand that that's a part of the league and it's a part of the business. Then he was not allowed to do that because there was an injury guarantee, so they couldn't risk him getting hurt. So then the economic aspect of it and the financial aspect of it kind of trumped like what really should have happened, what the Giants really wanted to do, and what Daniel really wanted to do, and it kind of became a transactional thing. And I think that was what was disappointing. I think even for the Giants, because they're not a transactional franchise. Like they never have been. It's always been, look, we're family, and once a Giant, always a Giant. And that was a tough thing to see, and I know a tough thing for Daniel to go through. I know it was tough for the Giants and for the ownership to have a guy that they had invested so much time in, and then to have it just really, literally disintegrate within a matter of days. That was tough. But I think once Daniel realized, like, look, I can't come in. I can't help the team. I'm a distraction.
Right.
Now, like people are looking at me, and they shouldn't be looking at me. It's about the team, and it's about Tommy. It's about them trying to win football games. So I think Daniel did the right thing. Look, I can't help the team out. All I can do is hurt us. So I need to get out of the way so that you guys can just move on. So I thought it was very noble of him to have the conversation and do it the way that he did it.
Should be really interesting to see what the Giants end up doing.